Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some more SFO Grimhammer, showcasing the new patch Art of War, which is due out on the 29th of April. We're almost done with the showcases and I believe that Venris will be showcasing the patch notes in full today, but until then I have to remind you that this is focused around battles, both campaign and custom, with mechanics being introduced later on in future patches. Right now this is all focused around balancing more than anything else. In this video, we're going to focus around the lands of Kislev, which are going to just update some units here and there, make them a bit more viable, and further reinforce the whole aspect of hybrid armies. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Let's start off with the Corsairs. So both of them have been changed from 90 entities to 120, just to give them a few more numbers and a few more arrows to be fired. Now with that, we've also seen both of them being changed to have the same price as a whole. They are the same unit in terms of cost, but two completely different roles. This will make it easier for you to field your starter armies more than anything else. Armored Corsairs are getting a very nice upgrade, both units. So first up, the entities were changed from 90 to 100. Second, now they have a 360-degree firing arc with their pistols, making it easier for you to reform and still keep some firing happening before an enemy gets too close. It's actually a very nice change and very useful for open fields. And lastly, they've also been changed to be the same price, once again making it easier for you to mix and match throughout your armies. I think this is very useful, especially as you start working through your campaign. I've really enjoyed it at the very least. Zargard are also getting a nice upgrade, both variants. So mass and knockback resistance has been increased, expert charge defense has been added, shield block has been changed from 55% to 60%, AoE has been added to their melee attacks, and a new ability known as Scald, which increases leadership and melee damage upon successfully killing enemies. Now your highest tier foot units, which are heavily armored, now feel like they are a high tier unit. Streltsy have been changed from 90 entities to 100 entities, meaning that you can get a few more shots out, and now they've also had some increased stats when it comes to melee. This is just to make them a bit stronger, because they're supposed to be a proper hybrid unit. Well, Kislev as a whole is mostly a hybrid faction, so this is to bring them more in line with that. It's quite useful, especially when you're dealing with, well, a lot of stuff that goes into your face like Korn or Nurgle. You want to be able to take a punch and give a punch back. Not much has changed for the Ice Guard themselves. Admittedly, they are a very good unit, barring the fact that they also have access to exceptional protection, which increases their damage resistance plus 10%. But you see down there are some caveats. For example, leadership has to be higher than broken, and your health points must be less than 50%. They're a bit better in damage, and generally you've got them safe anyway, but eventually you're going to have to bring them into close combat, so this is going to help quite a bit. Horse Archers have been renamed to Korsavite Archers because it kind of fits with the fact that you've got Korsavite Dervishes. They've also got the Woodsman attribute, which allows them to move through trees without too much of an issue, and they've also got anti-large bonuses added to their projectiles. This is very useful, especially if you decide to take the fight to chaos, because if you're dealing with Bloodthirsters, Great Unclean Ones, anything, well, any Greater Demon or a lot of the other big beasties, you're going to want to have some sort of anti-large to add to your skirmish. Korsavite Dervishes have had a minor change just to give them faster attacks and the Woodsman attribute. This is to bring them in line with the now Korsavite Archers, so you've got a melee variant there to protect the Horse Archers essentially. Warbear Riders have been changed slightly, where now they have 15 entities instead of 16. They've also got access to immune to psychology and the Bone Crusher special effect, which is good for close combat. This makes them much more viable when dealing with a lot of demons, as demons tend to cause fear and terror. Now they won't be affected by that, and you'll be willing to bring them more into the front line. It's not just with Boris Ursus now, you can easily justify them now with other armies. Snow Leopards have had a pretty big change. Now they have First and Vigorous. These are SFO Grimhammer abilities, which will make them much better in close combat. First will make them regenerate, and Vigorous will allow them to regenerate vigor, so they'll be fresh for the battle should you need them to move around quickly. They've also got access to Strider and Stalk, these are vanilla, and plus 20 missile resistance. Now your battle kitties will be a lot more Apex Predator rather than, ooh god, they're dead again. Elemental Bears will be buffed up slightly. First they'll have the Chilling Aura passive ability, which reduces the speed of anything around it in a certain area. This is quite good because, well, there's a lot of skirmishing, especially when you start dealing with Sinesh. And finally, a contact effect when in melee combat, which reduces enemy speed, base weapon damage, and armor-piercing weapon damage. This means that your big boy is now a lot more worth it. War sleds, the light and heavy will be given either bolstered attack or bolstered armor. This is first for the light war sleds and the second is for the heavy war sleds, with both of them taking advantage of the Bone Crusher passive when in close combat. This means that you'll be able to take them in a little bit better, they'll be able to skirmish a bit better, and they'll also provide some good bonuses to any units within that general vicinity. Your little Groms are now a little bit better too, so +5 movement, so they'll be able to move around a little bit better, Bone Crusher again, so they're decent in melee combat, and finally Encourage, so they'll be able to help out with any little bits of leadership that you might need, especially when you're dealing with loads of things with fear and terror. Every little bit helps. Wing Lancers got a very nice buff here, with shield block changed from 30% to 40%. They've also now got devastating charge, higher collision damage on the charge, and disciplined and immune to psychology attributes added. This is going to make them much better, especially again, you're dealing with demons. You expect some of the best horse riders or just general best humans of your nation to be able to fight them without fear. And finally for the units, the Griffin Legion. Brace yourself because there's a lot of changes. Shield block changed from 30% to 40%, devastating charge, higher collision damage on the charge, the dreaded SFO contact effect, disciplined, immune to psychology, and finally devastating flanker. These are easily now the best horse riders available in Total War Warhammer, and yeah, they're really good, trust me. If you want to go on a cavalry focus, you want to recruit some Griffin Legion. As usual, the Spellcasters have had some minor changes. I'll be cycling through both laws, so just pause as you wish. And it's mostly just focusing around just improving some spells and obviously increasing the cooldown. This is something that is affecting every single race and faction to not put such a reliance on magic throughout the battlefield, but you still will get a lot of spells out considering the fact that yes, the battles are longer. All in all, Kislev has received some nice bonuses. Cavalry charges are a lot better. Once again, I'm showcasing a randomly generated Kislev army versus a randomly generated Khornate army, mostly because I've been enjoying fighting against Khorne lately. But all in all, I'd say that Kislev feels the same. There's still a lot of hybrid focus, so you want to use a lot of hybrid units, you want to mix around your armies. I think it all works out quite well. I'm going to allow the rest of the battle to play, and we'll be back soon with some Grand Cafe.
left!